So if we have this outside triangle, ACD, how many inside triangles do we have? 2. We have this smaller triangle here and this triangle here. So there's actually 3 triangles here. Does everybody see 3 triangles?
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
So there's the outside triangle, and then there's 2 smaller triangles inside. So if the directions say something like classify triangle ABD by its angles, you got to realize there's 3 triangles there. So there's talking about a very specific one, ABD. So either take your pencil or your finger and point out ABD. So you got to know it's not this big outside one. It's the smaller one inside. So some people use a highlighter or they take their pencil and they kind of like accentuate the sides, draw like little lines or something, okay? To really focus in on ABD. Yes?
That symbol, the symbol.
This little box in the corner?
No, it's the one where you said classified. Is that angle or triangle?
This is a triangle. So we're going to look at triangle ABD. And we need to classify by its angles. So we need to know all 3 angles. How many do we know right now? 1. We only know the 1. Can we get the other 2?
Yeah.
Okay. We know that this angle right here and the angle next to it form a straight line right here. Everybody see that straight line? Straight lines are 180. So this angle right here, how can we get it? We want to subtract from 180. So we're going to say that angle ABD inside there is going to be equal to 180 minus that 100 next to it. That means it's 80. Why? Because they're a linear pair. They make that straight line. They should add up to 180. So we've got a 20-degree angle and an 80-degree angle. So we know 2. What should the total degrees in a triangle be? So the sum of all angles in a triangle should be 180. So we're going to start with the 180. We're going to subtract the 2 that we know. We know 20, so subtract it. We know 80, so subtract that. What are we left with? Now you can't have an angle that has negative 20 degrees. You should end up with 80 degrees. Okay? That means this triangle has 20 degrees, 80 degrees, 80 degrees. So if we look at your little chart, is that triangle by angles, is that going to be the top row or the bottom row? Bottom row. So you need to pick one of the 4 in the bottom row. Is it acute, equiangular, right, or obtuse?
Acute.
It is acute. So we're going to say that triangle
we're not talking about
ABD is acute.
Oh.
They're all less than 90 degrees. 20 is less than 90 degrees, 80 is less than 90 degrees, and 80 is less than 90 degrees. So it is an acute triangle. Okay, any questions on example number 1? All right, example number 2. Oh, let me move that up. There we go. All right, so again, for example number 2, we've got a couple triangles within our triangle. So you got to pay close attention to which one they want you to classify. They want you to classify triangle EHF, this time by sides. Okay, so you're going to take your finger or your pencil, you're going to tap out EHF. Here's E, here's H, here's F. So this triangle on the left inside, right? So some people kind of do this. They kind of like highlight it. So you really focus on that, okay? So we know this side and we know this side, but we don't know this third side, but it has this little mark on it. This little mark is called a tick. What does the tick mean? Tick means that it's the same as the other tick. So if this side also has a tick and it says 10 inches, then this side is also 10 inches. That means this triangle is 10 inches, 10 inches, and 12 inches. So we need to classify it by its sides. So that should be the top row, right? Because angles was the bottom row. So top row, our choices are equilateral, isosceles, or scalene. Which one is it? So we're going to say triangle. EHF is isosceles. And isosceles has sort of a little funny spelling. Okay? Why? Because it has two congruent sides. All right. Example number 3. Any questions on example 2 before we get going? Okay. Example number 3, third drawing. All right, example number 3. Example number 3, they're not asking us to classify. They're asking us to find the length of all 3 sides. So even though it's not saying we need to classify, if we classify first, it's going to help us, okay? And it's pretty easy to classify. We notice right away that the sides are labeled, not the angles. So the 3 sides, so we should probably classify it by its sides, and 2 of them have ticks. So that means it's a what? Isosceles, right?
Yeah.
On isosceles triangles, if you have these 2 sides congruent, you just set them equal to each other. So you're going to have 4x minus 10.7 equal to 2x plus 6.3. And then you can solve for x. Once you solve for x, you can plug x in here, find its length, plug x in here, find its length, plug x in here, find its length. So you can get the length of all 3 sides. All right, so let's solve for x. So we've got this algebraic equation. We want to get our variable on one side or the other. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. In the same step, I'm also going to add 10.7 to both sides. See if I can cancel anything out. Yep, these are opposites, they cancel. These are opposites, they cancel. And what's left? We have 4x minus 2x, which is 2x. Over here we have 6.3 plus 10.7, which is 17. So we divide both sides by 2, and we get x equals 8.5. Okay? So if we need to find all 3 sides, we need to figure out what's the length of JK, what's the length of KL, and what's the length of JL. Do I really need to do all 3 sides? No, because these 2 are the same. So if I get one of them, I've got the other. So pick whichever one looks easier. They both look about the same to me, so I'm going to do JK. I'm going to plug in 8.5 right here for x. So I'm going to have 4 times 8.5 minus 10.7. So I punch it in my calculator. I type 4 times 8.5 minus 10.7, hit the equal sign, I get 23.3. KL, we know is the same length because it's an isosceles triangle, so it's also 23.3. What? Do I? Now we want to do that third side, that JL side. So we're going to plug in 8.5 here. So we're going to go 5 times 8.5. Multiply 5 times 8.5 on your calculator. Add 2 more. Hit the equal sign. You should get 54.5.